Describe wireless network design principles. We're going to focus this time in centralized versus remote branch. If you need to install more than 100 access points and you need to install that in a large site, and you happen to have any of these conditions, you have a data center or you have a distribution layer, or this site has more than 100 milliseconds to reach any other remote available wireless LAN controller, then you will need to install a wireless LAN controller on site. This design is known as centralized or local mode. In this case, you will get all the features that comes with our wireless LAN controller. You can install a 9800 Catalyst series in order to do this. You can choose the 80 version that will provide you with 6,000 access points, 64,000 clients, and up to 80 gigabit per second wireless traffic. Or you can choose the 40 versions that will provide you with 2,000 access points, 32,000 clients, and up to 40 gigabit per second wireless traffic. The operation is the usual for a wireless LAN controller. Remember that you can have a dedicated anchor guest wireless LAN controller that is an additional wireless LAN controller for your guest traffic. And you have these options for your high availability. And if your remote branch offices happen to need up to 50 access points and are connected to a wide area network that let you reach your wireless LAN controller with less than 100 milliseconds, you can use the Flex Connect model for branches. In this case, your branches will may use an existing remote central wireless LAN controller that is known as share mode. If that remote wireless LAN controller happens to have enough capacity for your tags and for the amount of access points, but otherwise you can install a dedicated wireless LAN controller. So you have two options here, shared or dedicated. The operation is usually the same, but remember that these remote access points operate in Flex Connect local switching mode. That means that the remote access point will establish a cab-web tunnel to the primary wireless LAN controller, and this remote access point will switch the traffic between the wireless and wired networks, and these remote access points will be connected to trunks, where the native VLAN is used for cab-web and other VLANs for the wireless LANs. In this case, the guest traffic will be tunneled back to the wireless LAN controller. Remember that this will be eventually sent to an anchor guest wireless LAN controller. In order to have high availability in your Flex Connect model, remember to configure a primary, secondary, and tertiary wireless LAN controller inside your remote access points. In order to design for this, for the centralized model, connect your wireless LAN controllers to your distribution switches, or in case you have a network services block, connect your wireless LAN controller to your network services distribution layer. Remember to connect your anchor wireless LAN controllers for your guest users to a DMZ to your firewalls. And for the branch design, remember to have your branches getting connected to your central site using connections with less than 100 milliseconds of round trip time. In this case, these wireless LAN controllers exist or are connected in the data center. Just a comment about branches, you have other options besides Flex Connect. You can also use embedded wireless LAN controller for 8 access points, embedded wireless controller for switches, or smaller wireless LAN controllers. That's it.